Antarctica's plain white ice can be both awe-inspiring and haunting. It's where courageous explorers have encountered some of the most terrifying phenomena on the planet and some of the harshest of climates. From mysterious ancient antiquities to strange animals living beneath the ice, this frozen continent harbors many terrible secrets that will give you goosebumps. Join us as we explore the 20 scariest things found in Antarctica, including zombie viruses, blood falls, and a haunting presence. Number 20. Third man factor. The astounding phenomenon known as the third man factor is one of Antarctica's most haunting mysteries. Consider yourself in a dreadful scenario when survival appears to be nearly impossible, and then those in danger report experiencing a mystery presence guiding them to safety. Is this merely their imagination, or is something more supernatural at work? During Sir Ernest Shackleton's Imperial Trans-Antarctic expedition in 1914, one of the most famous experiences with the third man occurred. Shackleton and two colleagues set out on a voyage across hazardous glaciers to reach safety as his ship, Endurance, became icebound. During their 36-hour march, Shackleton said it felt like there were 4 of them, not 3. Surprisingly, he wasn't the only one who felt this way. His companions afterwards admitted to having felt the same way. Reports of the third man phenomenon arose worldwide in the decades following Shackleton's extraordinary experience under diverse, harsh situations. So, is the third man the creation of a stressed-out human mind, or is he a celestial guide sent from above to rescue lost souls? The explanation is unknown, but one thing is certain: the third man's presence is quite real to those who have experienced it. Number 19. The zombie virus. The permafrost hides a terrifying mystery. The ancient zombie viruses have been imprisoned in ice for thousands of years. The permafrost has begun to thaw as temperatures climb. This melting assisted scientists in the discovery of 13 previously undiscovered diseases. One virus, thought to have been stuck under a lake over 48,000 years ago, raises the possibility of zombie viruses reawakening. It is known to infect just amoebas, but who knows if it can spread to humans? No one would like to wait around and see. As a result, we can't afford to ignore the virus's emergence. The consequence of thawing permafrost was seen in a 2016 anthrax outbreak in Siberia connected to a reindeer carcass. There are already so many difficult-to-control viral infections, such as Ebola, cholera, dengue fever, and the common flu, that we cannot reasonably take the risk of unleashing a new viral disease outbreak. While the prospect of extinct viruses resurfacing is worrisome, the emphasis should remain on preventing and mitigating dangers. Number 18. The alien rocks. Aliens may no longer dwell here, but they may have visited Antarctica sometime in the past, and evidence of them can still be found in its frozen vastness. Aliens' pebbles that fell from other worlds were discovered by scientists. Antarctica, with over 50,000 meteorites retrieved by multinational research teams, is a unique location to investigate these extraterrestrial visitors. These rocks, which have traveled from faraway planets. But no one knows how they ended up in Antarctica. Among the most renowned discoveries is Allen Hills 84001, found in 1994. Scientists were divided about whether this Martian rock had indications of primordial living forms. The finding of such rocks makes us question if there is life beyond Earth. 2 major research teams from Europe, Japan, and the United States traveled to Antarctica on a regular basis to conduct systematic searches for meteorites. Their efforts were rewarded with extraordinary finds, such as an 18-kilogram Me meteorite discovered in the year 2013. The meteorites are maintained frozen after retrieval and transferred to laboratories for extensive investigation. The specimens were sent to NASA's Johnson Space Center for scientific examination. Even though many of the meteorites discovered are just chondrites, these rocks can still provide useful information. Many questions arise as scientists continue their search for extraterrestrial rocks. Could these alien rocks reveal evidence of life beyond our planet? This will be revealed in due course. Number 17. Camp Scott. Explorers from all over the world journeyed into the icy continent in the early 20th century, hoping to reach the South Pole. 2 teams competed for this icy prize: Roald Amundson's Norwegian expedition and Robert Falcon Scott's British expedition. Only one team would be able to return. But what transpired at Scott's hut became one of the most terrifying and terrible stories of polar exploration. Scott's hut, located on Ross Island in Antarctica, provided a refuge for Robert Scott during his Terra Nova expedition, which lasted from the year 1910 to 1913. This expedition aimed to conquer the South Pole, but it faced immense challenges in the unforgiving Antarctic wilderness. The hut was made in England and erected at Cape Evans on Ross Island. It provided shelter to 25 brave men during the harsh Antarctic winter. On November 1st, Scott and his team set out for the South Pole. Battling extreme weather conditions, they finally reached their destination the next year in January. However, to their dismay, they found the Norwegian flag flying high. Amundsen and his team had beaten them to the pole by 5 weeks. Scott's team turned back with heavy hearts, battling freezing temperatures and depleting supplies. As they struggled to survive, tragedy struck. On February 4th, Edgar Evans fell and lost his life. Edward Atkinson's dog team, meant to meet them, had to turn back due to illness. The squad stood strong despite the terrible weather and limited provisions, but on March 16th, Lawrence Oates, suffering from frostbite, went out of the tent to his death, sacrificing himself to save his friends. Scott and his remaining men grasped their dire situation by March 29. The frigid blizzards stopped them from reaching safety, and Scott is thought to have died that day. Their bodies were discovered 8 months later, marking the tragic conclusion of this ill-fated mission. Scott's hut is a compelling narrative of bravery, sacrifice, and the dreadful power of nature in one of the world's most inhospitable environments. Number 16. Mysterious blood falls. Antarctica frequently displays crimson-colored waterfalls, which is enough to send shivers down your spine. This is the Blood Falls of Antarctica. It may appear to be out of a horror movie, but it is not. Contrary to its terrifying moniker, this waterfall is not made of blood. The mystery underlying the frightening occurrence, however, has confused scientists for years. Blood Falls is named from its rosy hue and is located in Antarctica's McMurdo Dry Valleys, where Taylor Glacier exhibits its crimson flow. The falls have confused geologists due to the frozen landscape's cold temperatures, which appear unsuitable for glacial melting. A team of experts, including National Geographic emerging explorer Aaron C. Pettit, has finally solved the mystery owing to cutting-edge radar technology. Imaging from beneath the glacier revealed a hidden world of subglacial rivers and lakes, all overflowing with brine rich in iron, which gives the falls their crimson color. But what exactly causes the brine to flow rather than freeze in such a frigid environment? The explanation lies in saltwater's peculiar characteristics. The saline quality of the subglacial lake, along with its iron-rich content, lowers its freezing point and releases heat when it freezes, keeping the water flowing even in sub-zero temperatures. Taylor Glacier is now the coldest glacier on Earth, with constantly flowing water, an incredible discovery. So if you ever see a red waterfall in Antarctica, don't blame it on the polar bears. Polar bears do not exist in Antarctica. Number 15, Egypt is like a pyramid. If you assume pyramids are only found in Egypt, you may be mistaken. An odd discovery of a pyramid-like peak in the center of Antarctica's Ellsworth mountain range has drawn the interest of internet users worldwide. Many hypotheses have emerged as a result of its unusual shape, which resembles the famed pyramids of Egypt. But what lies beneath this structure? Satellite images revealed that the pyramid-shaped mountain, in comparison to the huge scale of Egypt's pyramids at Giza, measures barely 2 km at its base. The discovery has led to several speculations, suggesting connections to ancient civilizations or hidden organizations such as the Illuminati. Some speculate that Antarctica was once a lush rainforest in prehistoric times, giving an excellent setting for such structures to develop. Some believe it may have extraterrestrial involvement. Geology experts, led by Professor Eric Rigg, disagreed with these theories. He argues that the pyramid's unusual shape is the result of glaciers colliding naturally. Maybe he's right. Maybe he's not. Maybe there is a more sinister explanation. Number 14. A giant hole in Antarctic ice. In the year 2017, an incredible sight appeared in Antarctica. In the Antarctic ice, a massive hole the size of Kansas formed. This vast hole, known as a polynya, was surrounded by ice and was an unfrozen ocean zone. Scientists were perplexed by its reappearance after decades of absence. Later, scientists led by Diana Francis solved the mystery of the polynya's appearance. So, where did this massive hole come from? The scientists discovered that cyclones were the driving force behind this occurrence by using satellite images and high-resolution data. These tremendous cyclones and winds led the ice to move away from the region, resulting in an opening in the ice field at the cyclone center. As cyclones drove the sea ice in the opposite direction of the surface winds, the polynya grew until it joined with the open ocean at the start of summer. However, this type of climate change predicts an increase in polar cyclones and more destructive natural disasters. These mid-sea polynyas, though, aren't only causing havoc. They are critical in the movement of heat between the ocean and the atmosphere, especially during the winter when the sea ice pack consolidates. As a result, it has the ability to affect global climate via changing ocean circulation. Number 13, cracking iceberg. A massive iceberg is on the verge of breaking loose high above Antarctica's frozen plains. This gigantic ice piece, extending over 660 square miles and nearly 500 feet thick, is twice the size of New York City. The Brunt Ice Shelf, which houses the Halley Research Station, has been constantly studied due to the approaching possibility of this iceberg calving. The two huge breaches, Chasm 1 and the Halloween Crack, have been continuously growing, and when they inevitably intersect, this massive iceberg will slip into the ocean, contributing to rising world sea levels. But when is this major event likely to occur? Despite ongoing monitoring, scientists are unsure of the precise moment of the iceberg's detachment. Unlike previous Antarctic Peninsula ice breakups caused by warming air and oceans, this calving episode appears to be part of a natural cycle. This means we won't be able to stop it from breaking. Chasm 1, the first fault line, has been there for almost 35 years, but it began extending again in 2012. With a weekly development rate of several hundred meters, this crack is getting closer to its final destination. The Halloween Crack, observed in 2016, adds to the complexity of the situation. This problem was caused by an undersea ridge that collided with the ice shelf. This fault line can be seen upstream of the McDonald ice rumples. But what if these cracks come together soon, causing the massive iceberg to float away from Antarctica? Alternatively, the load on the ice shelf may compel Chasm 1 to pursue another path towards the ocean. In any case, the repercussions are severe. This massive iceberg will ultimately melt and contribute to the world's increasing oceans. Number 12. The mummified penguins. During his journeys in the cold expanse of Antarctica's Ross Sea in 2016, ornithologist Stephen Emsley came across an unexpected sight, a penguin colony that has been mummified. What made this even more surprising was that no active colonies had ever been observed in this location before. The remains he discovered were largely those of Adelie penguins, a species that lives near Antarctica's shoreline and builds nests out of pebbles. The majority of the corpses were chicks, which had a tiny chance of growing up. Others were ancient and mummified, while some appeared fresh and recently deceased, with feathers and flesh still intact. Emsley was shocked by the discovery and took back part of the remains for radiocarbon dating to determine their true age. Emsley was stunned by the findings. The remains dated back about 800 years, with some dating back as far as 5,000 years. The penguins had been locked in time beneath layers of ice, preserved until climate change caused the ice to melt, exposing this ancient colony to the world. Emsley's research found that the site had been occupied by penguins in 3 waves. The final colony most likely left about the 1330s. The arrival of the Little Ice Age encased the area in snow and ice, preventing the penguins from reaching the ocean. This mummified penguin colony serves as a reminder of what climate change can do. Who knows what more secrets from Antarctica's past will be revealed as temperatures increase and ice continues to melt. Number 11. The ICEFISH colony. We uncover some strange creatures breeding in a colony deep beneath the icy waters of Antarctica's Weddell Sea. This huge breeding colony of icefish is anything but average. These organisms live in ice-cold waters slightly above freezing with transparent blood, no red blood cells, and no hemoglobin to transfer oxygen. This may frighten you, yet nature has enabled them to absorb oxygen-rich Antarctic waters through their skin. What makes this icefish breeding colony even more fascinating? This magnificent picture was witnessed by scientists from the Alfred Wegener Institute in February of 2001. Their remotely operated camera revealed a mysterious landscape of hula-hoop-sized sandy craters on the sea floor, each carrying a single icefish defending a clutch of eggs. The camera discovered an amazing 60 million active nests scattered across 92 square kilometers. This was the world's largest fish breeding colony. But what exactly is the icefish's survival strategy? It is the unusually warm stretch of deep water that the colonies occupy, with temperatures reaching as high as 35 degrees Fahrenheit, nearly hot compared to the rest of Antarctica. The researchers speculate that warm, deep currents may be guiding the icefish to these areas. One has to wonder what more shocking life forms await beneath the cold depths. Number 10. The headless chicken monster. In the dark waters of the Southern Ocean, there is a mysterious creature that has confused researchers. Recently, Australian researchers conducting a video survey of the ocean floor were astounded when a pink, blob-like animal fluttered into view, resembling a chicken just before it went into the oven. The creature, officially known as Enypniastes eximia, has been known to scientists since the late 19th century but is rarely seen. In fact, it has only been captured on video once before, far from the East Antarctic waters where the latest sighting occurred. The researchers utilized an underwater camera mounted to a fishing line to investigate the remote depths of the Southern Ocean. They were on their trip to gather information about parts of the Southern Ocean that may resist deep-sea fishing. However, the camera captured this one-of-a-kind headless chicken monster, Enypniastes eximia, a sea cucumber. This organism was spotted filtering through the dirt on the ocean floor, feasting on organic material with a cluster of tentacles. However, much about this enigmatic creature is unknown. Is it as harmful as it appears? Number 9. Antarctica's singing ice. The ice in Antarctica is not only frozen but also singing a haunting tune. Although this frightening ice shelf music is not noticeable to human ears, scientists have discovered a technique to listen to it using seismic sensors. Over the course of 2 years, researchers studied the Ross Ice Shelf, Antarctica's largest ice shelf, and discovered that the ice was nearly always singing at a frequency of 5 hertz, caused by the region's blowing winds. But how did they notice this strange vibration? 34 seismic sensors were initially installed to investigate other elements of ice shelf behavior. When the results were analyzed, they discovered that the topmost snow layer was vibrating due to the vigorous winds that blew over its uneven surface, causing the unsettling seismic hum. The pitch of the ice's hum altered subtly under specific situations, much like blowing a flute. Will you risk hearing the ice sing? Number 8. Ancient fossils. An astonishing discovery of dinosaur remains has been uncovered in Antarctica. During their journey, the researchers discovered almost a ton of fossils dating back as far as 67 million years. The prehistoric sea reptiles and birds dominate the fossils, which are around 71 million years old. The famed Mosasaurus has a large share among the fossils. The trip, which took place on James Ross Island, uncovered a remarkable assortment of prehistoric marine reptile remains, including plesiosaurs and mosasaurs, which resemble the marine lizards depicted in the blockbuster film Jurassic World. Bird fossils, particularly early ducks from the Cretaceous period, were also discovered. All of these bones may appear frighteningly compacted beneath the ice. But who knows how varied life was originally in Antarctica? Geological data was used by scientists to recreate the species' habitat, presenting a detailed picture of their lives millions of years ago. The rocks discovered on James Ross Island date from the end of the dinosaur era. As a result, it is clear that all of these fossils are the remains of the diverse species that existed in prehistoric Antarctica. Number 7. See-through fish. Scientists are gradually discovering hidden living forms beneath Antarctica's thick ice. A comparable astonishing finding was the see-through fish, which was discovered living beneath nearly half a mile of ice. This complex life form thrives in the planet's darkest and coldest regions. Only a decade ago, it was thought that life could not exist beneath Antarctica's vast ice sheets. That assumption, however, has been challenged by the Whillans Ice Stream Subglacial Access Research Drilling Project. The scientists discovered a fascinating variety of life beneath the Ross Ice Shelf after drilling through 2,400 feet of ice. When we look at this mysterious see-through fish, we can observe how unusual its large eyes and translucent skin are. Its interior organs are clearly visible. Consider viewing a beating heart. But how does such a delicate creature adapt to such a harsh environment? Scientists are amazed at the bacteria that flourish beneath the ice, in addition to the fish. Who knew Lake Whillans was home to such amazing microbiological life? These discoveries will undoubtedly alter our perception of the existence of life in Antarctica. Number 6. The striped icebergs. Not all icebergs in Antarctica's icy terrain are spotless white. The striped icebergs are a fascinating phenomenon. These eye-catching structures come in a variety of colors, such as blue, green, yellow, and even brown. Each of these eye-catching patterns is the result of distinct procedures involving various conditions for each color. The most common blue stripes are caused by crevices being filled with water and swiftly freezing, leaving no place for bubbles. Their distinct appearance is due to the alternation of normal ice deposition and no bubbles fashion. What about the green stripes, though? The greenish tint is caused by the presence of algae-rich water, which freezes and gives the ice its vibrance. Brown, yellow, and black stripes form when the ice sheet collects sediments as it slides downward. Another fantastic feature is the ability to see many colors in a single iceberg. These striped icebergs are a pretty uncommon sight, yet not extremely rare. Øyvind Tangen, a Norwegian sailor, captured these glaciers while aboard a research ship, although their actual origins are unknown. These striped icebergs appear frightening at first glance, yet they are a very captivating work of nature in the icy environment. Now, it's time for today's subscriber pick. Taking you for a brief pause toward our subscribers pick. Here's an image out of Antarctica showing some sort of huge construction project. What do you think could be so secretive that it has to be built far out into the inhospitable Antarctic ice? It could be some sort of top-secret research lab for experimenting with those centuries-old viruses extracted deep from the glaciers, with fears of an outbreak among humans. Hence the choice of such a location. Or maybe it is a prison for an unearthly beast, to be imprisoned as far away from humanity as possible. Let us know your take on this in the comments below. Number 5. Tunnels as high as the Eiffel Tower. Under the icy expanse, Antarctica boasts its own Eiffel Towers. Scientists using radar and satellite data made an incredible discovery, revealing a hidden world behind the thick ice layers. The researchers set off on an aircraft mission over West Antarctica's Filchner-Ronne ice shelf. They discovered these massive tunnels, climbing to heights of 820 feet, similar to the high Eiffel Tower, using specially built radar equipment. But now the question is, what caused the construction of these massive tunnels? Meltwater is thought to have moved beneath the ice cover from the land into the ocean, according to the experts. We now understand how Antarctica's ice melts as a result of this discovery. Rather than thin sheets of meltwater beneath the ice, the water flows in concentrated channels like rivers. However, the effects of climate change appear to be threatening these massive tunnels. Consider the melting of such a massive amount of ice. It would bring about Mother Nature's worst disasters. Number 4. The sea spiders. Some of the most terrifying species, such as sea spiders, live in the cold waters of Antarctica's Southern Ocean. While most are only a few centimeters in size, some Antarctic monsters can grow to be 20 inches wide. What's more scary is the way they breathe. Sea spiders breathe through openings in their legs, unlike most animals that rely on specialized respiratory organs. It's a strange adaptation that permits them to thrive in the polar ocean's freezing waters. A group of researchers proposed a theory that the bigger size of these species was owing to slower metabolisms caused by decreased oxygen supply in deeper waters. This, however, was not totally correct. The huge sea spiders adjusted fast to changes in water temperature, performing equally as well as smaller sea spiders in warmer seas. So despite their larger size, how can they prevent oxygen loss? As these spiders grew in size, their legs became increasingly porous, resembling Swiss cheese with many holes. This distinguishing characteristic most likely explains their capacity to cope with different oxygen demands in different water temperatures. Does this mean that sea spiders will do better than humans in the face of climate change? Number 3. Large volcanoes. The greatest volcanic zone on Earth, buried 2 kilometers beneath the surface of the huge ice sheet, has been discovered in the depths of Antarctica. Researchers from Edinburgh University have discovered nearly 100 volcanoes, some as tall as the Eiger in Switzerland, which peaks at nearly 4,000 meters. This massive volcanic zone has the potential to dwarf the densest concentration of volcanoes in East Africa. The consequences of these dormant giants could be disastrous. If one of these volcanoes erupts, it might destabilize West Antarctica's ice sheets, a phenomenon that would accelerate the flow of ice into the sea. The question is, how active are these volcanoes? We can't say anything about it, but an eruption might have disastrous effects. The Edinburgh Volcano Survey made this monumental discovery while searching for hidden volcanic peaks beneath the West Antarctic ice sheet. 91 previously undiscovered volcanoes were discovered, joining the 47 others discovered in the previous century. These newly discovered volcanoes should not be treated lightly. They range in height from 100 to 3,850 meters and are buried beneath layers of ice 4 kilometers thick. If you want to take a peek, go to the West Antarctic Rift System, which runs over 3,500 kilometers from the Ross Ice Shelf to the Antarctic Peninsula. However, if one of the volcanoes erupts, it has the potential to contribute to the rising sea level, exacerbating the consequences of global warming. What appears to be even more concerning is the recent surge in volcanic activity in areas where glaciers have receded during the last ice age. Climate change is already affecting West Antarctica's ice sheets, thereby increasing the probability of volcanic eruptions, so the threat is definitive. Number 2. Warm caves. Antarctica does not have a completely frozen cold environment. A hidden world of warmth and potential life exists beneath the frigid surface. Steam from active volcanoes has hollowed out enormous cave networks beneath the Antarctic ice, creating the ideal setting for the survival of rare ecosystems. These warm caves can reach temperatures of up to 25 degrees Celsius, a sharp contrast to the frigid surroundings above. Australian National University scientists undertook research around Mount Erebus, an active volcano on Ross Island, that revealed the existence of these extraordinary cave networks that harbors evidence of life. Forensic studies of cave soil samples showed traces of DNA from algae, mosses, and small mammals. While some of the DNA sequences matched known species from other parts of Antarctica, others remained unidentified. This implies that there could be unknown life forms beneath the ice. Consider the potential surprises that these unexplored caves may offer. What do you suppose could be dwelling in these remote and comfortable underground caves? Despite the difficulties provided by Antarctica's harsh climate, the heat from the volcanoes produces a remarkably pleasant environment within the caves. The temperature is warm enough for researchers to wear t-shirts comfortably. Furthermore, sunlight passes through thin ice above, making the caves even cozier. These cave networks may be more common than previously anticipated, given Antarctica's more than 15 active volcanoes. However, if you believe you can live in these caves, you may be mistaken because reaching and exploring these caves is not easy. Number 1. Shackleton's Whiskey. Talk about whiskey on ice. 3 bottles of rare 19th century Scotch whiskey were found beneath the floorboards of Antarctic explorer Ernest Shackleton's abandoned base camp. And after 120 years of being left behind, they were finally returned to the polar continent. The bottles of Mackinley's whiskey were bottled in 1898 after aging for 15 years. They were among the 3 crates of Scotch and 2 of brandy buried beneath Shackleton's hut during his 1907 Nimrod expedition. Remarkably, after so many years, the whiskey bottles were discovered intact. What appears to be more surprising is that, despite the cold temperatures of Antarctica, the researchers could hear the valuable liquid sloshing inside. The bottles will be deposited beneath Shackleton's tent at Cape Royds, marking the historic age of Antarctic exploration. Although the whiskey remains unopened as a memorial to Shackleton, the contents served as the foundation for a spectacular rebirth of the blend. In 2001, distillers White and Mackay rented a private plane to transport the bottles to Scotland for investigation. They developed a limited edition using a sample extracted with a syringe through the cork of one of the bottles. Perhaps a large number of individuals would be interested in trying it out. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.